Hello and welcome to Protect Ukraine Now YouTube channel. My name is Alek Kasman.
Hi, I'm Oleg. I'm a military analyst in Protect Ukraine Now.
Today we're going to talk about the latest few military assistance packages for Ukraine.
And we're going to discuss the overall situation and the trends that will result from the previous 12 months of fighting and depriving Ukraine from important munitions and ammunition.
There are three packages we're going to discuss today. One from May 10 to the amount of $400 million. The second package is from May 24 to the amount of $275 million. And the latest package is from today, June 7, and the amount is $225 million.
First thing we need to notice is that every next package since the 1 billion package that was announced in April is lower than the previous ones. Yes, we can take a look at the first package, and we see that the vast majority of this package constitute different types of consumables. For example, munitions for Patriot air defense system, for NASAMS, for Stinger. Those are three types of air defense systems which are long range, medium range, and short range missiles, but they're all just the consumables. No new Patriot systems were provided to Ukraine since 2023. The next consumable is the HIMARS ammunition. That is very important. Both GMLRS and ATACMS missiles are important. Artillery munitions like 155 and 105 artillery rounds are important. From the serious weapons, from the heavy weapons, Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, armored personnel carriers M113 from Vietnam era are great for medevacs, for medical evacuation of wounded soldiers. MRAPs are not so useful, but it's better than nothing. Since we have abundance of MRAPs here in the United States, it's better to give them to Ukraine rather than just to utilize them. So that's better to give them to Ukraine. The rest of the package from May 10 is just the consumables.
Yeah, if I could add, this package worth $400 million, and it should be noted that each, for example, Patriot air defense system rocket is about $4 million. The NASAMS are is at about $1 million a pop, and
Yeah, so Patriot air defense systems missiles are varied. They are long-range missiles against the aerodynamic targets like aircrafts or cruise missiles. They are 2 million apiece. The anti-ballistic missiles, the newer ones, are 4 million apiece and more expensive because there is different variations of those missiles.
yeah, that's a good point. I think Alex, they vary between $2 and $4 million a pop, depending on the model. How much are we talking about when it comes to Bradleys?
I think there is overall the number of Bradleys that Ukraine received is about 100, maybe slightly more, which is very important. Ukraine received less than 200 Bradleys in 2023. So adding another 100 Bradleys is important, but it's not sufficient.
Right. And again, looking at overall amount of the package, which is $400 million, given a significant cost of each line item on the list, we can conclude that the total amount of munitions is not very significant.
Yes, most likely it's not enough to arm a brigade, maybe not even enough to arm a battalion. It's just maybe a company size.
All right, moving on to the second package announced on May 24 to the amount of $275 million.
If I can summarize it with one sentence, it's just consumables. There's no major weapon systems. It's just ammunition, ammunition, ammunition. Those are important, don't get me wrong. It's ammunition for HIMARS. GMLRS and ATACMS are two kinds of ammunition for HIMARS. Artillery shells, both 155 and 105, are important. 60 millimeter mortar rounds, economical way um, to protect Ukraine front line from Russian infantry assaults. Those are great, but there is no heavy weapon.
Absolutely. So, and the last package that was just announced today, June 7, and the total estimated value is $225 million.
So here we see a number of air defense missiles. It's Hawk and Stinger. Both are important because Hawk is the US-made air defense system that was shipped to Ukraine, a couple of them. Spain shipped one, I believe one or two batteries. So those are really useful, and the missiles are cheap because they're not as widespread these days as the other modern air defense systems. Again, HIMARS ammunition. I'm not going to stop on that. Artillery shells. What we see different here is that there is actual howitzers, 155 millimeter howitzers. And I can guess that the howitzer means this is like a towed howitzer rather than self-propelled howitzer. That could be M777. M777 is not the great howitzer, as we know after a couple years of use. The problem is that titanium barrel are wearing out very fast. They are very lightweight compared to the steel-made howitzers, but it's much less durable because of that. It cannot shoot the same amount of artillery shells as the howitzer with a steel tube. Another one is 81 millimeter mortar system. Those are great mortars. That's what Ukraine really needs. And hopefully we'll see ammunition for 81 millimeter mortars, which we don't see in this package. M113 armored personnel carrier, already mentioned before. The rest is just consumables.
Yes. And looking at all three packages together, this is still a reduction in the amount of weapons provided compared to the April package worth $1 billion. And overall, this is in line with the amount of military assistance Ukraine has received by the end of last year. That's when really we ran out of funds for Ukraine, and the Department of Defense was using that as an explanation to why military packages were reduced. If we look at overall chart for military deliveries since the beginning of the full scale invasion, we can see that early in the full scale invasion, the packages averaged over $1 million each month, where right now we're down to a much smaller assistance packages. And of course, over here, you can see this gap when Ukraine wasn't getting any assistance at all. So really, our conclusion is the administration needs to stop micromanaging military assistance to Ukraine. All aid that is ready and able to ship to Ukraine needs to continually be shipped and delivered. There's no need to delay assistance, and it provided every several weeks in these, as you can see, very insufficient packages.
Yeah, I must also add that as you can see, around July 2023, there was a significant reduction of average package. And since that time, Ukraine was deprived from significant resources, especially ammunition and weapons. And Ukraine had to survive long winter at significantly reduced stockpiles that they have. And after 1 million was received in April, that was not sufficient to restore all the packages that were not sent for almost a year now. And we need to provide Ukraine with at least a million or better, a million and a half, sorry, at least a billion or a billion and a half monthly of munition and ammunition. Ukraine needs weapons. Ukraine cannot fight just with the artillery shells. Ukraine needs howitzers, Ukraine needs mortars, Ukraine needs all kinds of different weapons, including and maybe starting with Patriot air defense systems. And we don't see that, unfortunately. So my question to administration would be, we are depriving Ukraine from very basic ammunition, which we can provide. And if we are doing that, while we are doing that, are we going to fight the war that Ukraine is going to lose after Ukraine? Are we going to stop Russia after Ukraine falls? Is that the plan?
Speaking of the plan, in just few days, there will be 45 days since Biden signed into the law the last supplemental package, and that's when the administration would be required to provide a plan for further military actions in Ukraine, a victory plan, something that Congress is going to review and use as a determination whether or not our aid strategy requires a change. We will be monitoring these events very carefully, and as soon as there's something to discuss, we're going to bring this to your attention.
And I want to bring something to attention of Europe. So as we saw, Europe was trying to help to give a hand to Ukraine when United States was depriving Ukraine from ammunition. Unfortunately, Europe did not deliver upon promises. And the million artillery shells that Europe promised to deliver by March, unfortunately, was not true. And Czech Republic came up with an initiative. They found artillery shells, 800,000 of them, that they can purchase in third world countries for Ukraine. 18 countries from Europe committed to give money to buy this ammunition for Ukraine. That was as a huge discount. That was at a huge discount compared to the price of manufacturing artillery shells in Europe or in the United States. Nevertheless, only 4 countries out of 18 actually gave money to purchase artillery shells for Ukraine. So my question to Europe, what are you going to do if Ukraine will lose this war? Not in 5 years, but in this year. Are you ready to fight the war with Russia? Russia is preparing for a long war. They are rebuilding their economy and their manufacturing capabilities. Russia is manufacturing more artillery shells than the United States and Europe altogether, several times more, and several times cheaper. What are you going to do if Russia is going to come after you?
Well, we know what we're going to do. We're going to call our representatives, we're going to call our senators, and we're going to ask them to be serious about providing Ukraine assistance that is needed today. We need to be grateful to the United States of America that give us this opportunity to have our voices heard and our opinion matter.
Yes, we are definitely thankful to the United States where democracy is living and breathing, and we can reach out to our members of Congress and ask and give and share our opinion with them.
And for the rest of you of our listeners, we'd like to remind you that there's no one else but us who can make this difference. We can see what our governments are able to do on their own, and what they do is not sufficient. So they need extra encouragement and correction. And the only direction this correction can come from is us, the people.
Remember, in democracy, when government fucks things up, it's your job to fix it.
Definitely. So thank you everyone for listening to this overview, and until the next time.
See you.